Fiction, which is already becoming a reality. How to open the green door to the future. The net profit of a clear country, and it is possible to prevent global warming. Alternative energy sources, unique technologies, and what you never knew existed. Life Science, watch it now. Astral Sternu Tarantoga created the equipment for using the useless, wasted energy of children who cannot stand still even for a minute. This is a system of handles sticking out in different places and levers. Playing with them, pushing and pulling, children without knowing themselves pump water, wash clothes, peel potatoes and produce electricity. Stanislav Lem from the Star Diaries of Yontiki. Today in the program, when a tango lights up the city, the dance floor is a single electric generator. The more people that move, the more electricity it generates. Warm up for charging. What kind of energy do we produce? Kinetic energy. Walking towards progress. One step produces from 5 to 8 watts depending on the force of pressing on the plates. Completely non-playable electricity. Let's arrange the magnets and the branches of the spinner and twist it. What is a vigorous dance and how to pedal correctly? How to dance a lizginka and boil a kettle. In other words, swing and recharge. The energy of motion. Have you seen the ballerina? She spins so fast it almost hurts the eyes. Tie her foot to a dynamo and let her give energy to the undeveloped areas. The famous miniature of satirist Mikhail Zvanetsky performed by Arkady Raikin. And in vain, you laugh so hard. Following the scientific terms, the protagonist of the miniatures proposed to convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. Let's hear more from the experts. Electric energy can be obtained in various ways, and there are several non-standard ways, for example, using piezoelectricity. Piezoelectricity is a method of obtaining electrical energy from mechanical energy. The energy of a moving body is kinetic. In Greek, the word kinema means movement. The energy of a real object is potential. Altogether, it's the same mechanical energy. And the most popular toy today, the spinner, is a clear example of this. Let's arrange the magnets on the branches of the spinner and twist it. The magnetic field data will also change. Just bring the coil here and it will also generate electricity.
Просто приблизим сюда катушку, и она также будет вырабатывать электричество.
Young inventors argue that rationalization of ideas from the recent past today is as relevant as ever. No kidding. Scientists with international fame and experience confirm this fact. What Arkady Raikin said about ballerinas who can produce electric power by dynamos already exists. Of course, no one ties the dynamo literally to the foot of a ballerina, but for example, it's very easy to charge your body with energy and at the same time your own phone. Figures move smoothly across the dance floor. The dancer confidently leads his partner, and it's not necessary to screw the wires to the limbs of artists. The main thing here is for the floors to have the right concept. Under the floor, there are many piezo elements and they generate energy. They are all connected to a capacitor that accumulates the energy. This is an energetic dance in all its senses. You can easily provide the club with electricity while people dance on the floor. There are already several disco clubs of this kind in the world. There's already such a project which has already been implemented in England. This is the so-called energy-generating dance floor. You move on it and the energy of your movements are transferred to electricity. You charge the phone or somehow use it. The faster you move on the dance floor, the better. According to the owner of the club, this way they satisfy somewhere about 50% of their energy needs. However, it is not necessary to dance at all. The Star Diaries, not by Joly. This is Astana, Expo, the zone for best practices. This stand features the technology they invented, plates that convert the kinetic energy of the steps into electricity due to the piezoelectric effect. People walk around, contemplate the exhibits, and at the end they can get absolutely accurate information about who and how many kilowatts have been generated. A photo is included. We have the opportunity to enter our email at our stand when people go through the slabs, and as soon as the camera receives a signal that the energy is being generated, there's a countdown. 3, 2, 1, and the photograph is taken. It's advisable not only to watch, but it's strongly recommended to touch, conduct experiments and play. And it does not matter how old you are. The most popular pavilion of the Expo 2017 is the Kazakhstan pavilion itself, Nur Alim, simply referred to as a sphere, and its third floor is kinetic. The floor also uses piezo elements. The amount of energy received depends on the person's weight, type, and intensity of movement. English technology is at the service of the capital's expo. However, not only Great Britain is interested in this direction. In Japan, the piezo element is also very popular. Basically, it's located on dance floors and discos, nightclubs, places with many people.
В танцполах, в дискотеках, в ночных клубах, где много народу.
But, for example, in the Army of USA, piezoelectrics are placed in soldiers' shoes. And wherever the military is directed, there are no problems with charging for vital devices such as radios, flashlights, phones. They always work. The main thing is to move your feet. For example, you get lost in the woods and your battery is dead. With the help of such a generator, you can at least charge your phone to 1%, at least for one call.
Можно хотя бы загрузить 1%, хотя бы, чтобы хотя бы на один звонок.
There's special purpose footwear shown at the Expo Pavilion. But piezo training shoes are just one of the directions. Any type of clothing can easily collect and accumulate excellent kinetic energy. And it's not the latest development. A special device and an adapter are installed in shorts for a mobile phone. The person moves, the piezoelectric is deformed, the shorts collect the energy. It has been discovered based on the experiment. The movement for 12 hours gives the opportunity to charge the phone for 4 hours. They can be used to charge a mobile phone, but these technologies are not applicable to power up and heat a house. Not enough scale.
Дома эти технологии они неприменимы. Они не масштабируются.
This regards the disadvantages of the mechanical methods of generating electricity. The advantages are that you can assemble such devices even at home. The physics of an action, you twist the pen and the interesting exhibit moves closer. These things allow you to feel how you yourself can influence the development of electricity and how you can also contribute to the development of green energy. A radio receiver on manual traction, toy flashlights. At the same time, it's possible to train your arm muscles and prostheses and devices of the past, a drill and a gramophone. And the most grandiose kinetic structure at the third level is the Wheel of Death. In action, it can be seen at the arena of the Cirque du Soleil, here in Astana. And yet, what is piezoelectricity? These are materials that, during deformation, are capable of inducing an electric charge on their surface, most often crystals of quartz or ceramics, demonstrated for the first time in 1880 by French scientists Jacques and Pierre Curie. Piezo elements are elements that spontaneously release electrons. The piezoelectric cell is a crystal that receives a physical load when it's subjected to mechanical force. Thus, it produces electricity. The force applied to the piezoelectric material leads to the appearance of a potential difference on the electrodes. Sounds like a phrase from the textbook, but what is difficult in theory seems easy in practice. Piezoelectricity can be obtained by deformation of the body. For example, the usual cigarette lighter. When we squeeze it, the body is deformed, a spark is produced, and the principle of the piezoelectric element is revealed. Get the power plant out of your pocket. Incredibly, many of us do it regularly. If you remember, when you were a child, you probably played with lighters, and when you pressed them, they got an electric shock. These lighters first appeared in the middle of the 20th century, but their prototypes were used to ignite gas lamps in the 19th century. Whether it's raining or snowing, rain is better after all, and while exploring, preventing the same solar panels from generating electricity, why not use the kinetic power of the drops? French inventors were thinking, and turned out that the falling rain had charged the house with the necessary electricity. When raindrops fall on a piezoelectric element, it supplies electricity and can be collected with a capacitor. The device generates the most energy with the fall of slow, large drops. Scientists say that in some areas the device will allow producing almost 1 watt per square meter per year, and they predict a promising future for the combination of solar cells with rain generators. Today we are talking about the fact that the emerging packages of discoveries and technologies will change our life to a level that our imagination could not foresee. Energy from the rain is not the only project where vibration provides a person with electricity. And the imagination does not stop there. Just shake your mobile phone and it can start charging. Even normal urban noise can be converted into electricity. You just need a thin piezoelectric film and a window pane. 2 in 1. The noise is absorbed and the kettle is boiled. This is the so-called noisy energy. Well, the energy of steps in such quantities presented in expo pavilions, the world has been using it for several years now. At Heathrow Airport in London, they installed these plates in the 3rd terminal. Also in Washington in the United States, they're installing on the street. They produce energy and in the evening use for lighting. Such plates are installed only in places where a big crowd of people are expected, so that the energy is produced as much as possible and can be used in the future. Even just an ordinary walk on a special footpath is perceived quite differently, admit the residents of the American capital. One step produces from 5 to 8 watts depending on the force of pressing the plates. And in Japan, China and the Netherlands, the city administrators are carried away by installing special baffle gates. They do not use the effect of pressure on the piezo elements, but the effect of pushing. Most of the baffle gates people will transmit their momentum and force to piezo elements, since piezo elements produce energy by deformation. In the Netherlands, it is generally proposed to change the usual doors in shopping centres which now operate on photocells to doors that will themselves generate electricity. And by experience, they have already found that one door generates about 4,600 kilowatts, and this is hours of energy per year. Not a huge number, of course, but a great example of alternative technology. This is another example, again at the Kazakhstan Pavilion in Expo, a special area for jumping into the future. More precisely, in order for this future to appear on the screen, you'll first need to jump. The screens are charged, the toy is turned on from the kinetic energy it receives. Here is a cyclist who pushes the pedals with his feet. This easily generates electricity to illuminate his way and energy to listen to music. And here are the cyclists themselves. They illustrate the statement of the Russian scientist Viktor Fedorov in color, the Pavilion of Expo. A competition. Who is bigger? A team of innovative athletes and breakthrough technologies. Ready, set, go! You have more powerful bikes. Pedal faster and you can win. Come on, the audience cheered with the cyclists. The athletes tried their best, the pedals flashed and the counter was on. The team which generated more electricity won. But eventually, all the same, it's the progress that wins. Electricity went into the sphere in the sense it provides the Pavilion of Expo with energy. The person is moving, the wheels are spinning, the dynamo is spinning, and as soon as it stops, there's no more energy, but there are batteries that accumulate it. Another option is the kinetic piggy bank in the Kazakh version. For almost a year riding this bicycle, charging their telephones through it, children get to the Lyceum to listen to another lecture on physics. Let's turn on the multimeter. We spin the wheel to the maximum speed and bring the coil to the wheel. We see how electricity is produced.
И подводим катушку, колесо. Мы видим, как вырабатывается электричество.
The whole secret are the magnets. Young inventors say they can be used on everything that twists and turns. In spinners, in cars, in trains, in helicopters and airplanes. And now they'll produce a large amount of energy and electricity. Even on a weathercock, the Pavilion of Austria has dozens of them. The exhibition hall of this country in general only works from the visitors' energy. It is one of the most popular, especially among children. Or not only. Here too you can push the pedals and thanks to their efforts, learn about the country, watching a video. How many turns you make is how long you'll be able to watch the video. Well, just like in the science fiction novel of 1957 by the Polish writer Stanisław Lem, only even more fantastic. Children and adults have fun jumping and pulling ropes and swinging on swings. Everything they do produces energy. Or at gyms, for example, a person works on simulators. Green gyms, they already exist in the form of an experiment. Special bikes in these halls can generate almost 4 megawatts of renewable electricity every year. There's a company in England that started doing this. It's been about a year and a half since they started. Now, basically, they sell their goods in England and also in South America. Such a project is quite likely to appear in Kazakhstan. The students are the first to test the innovation. First, it will be an advantage for students, free gyms, the introduction of a healthy lifestyle for the younger generation, and the creation of an alternative source of energy that would generate enough energy for the needs of the university. Young inventors from Kazakhstan are planning to improve the foreign ideas. That is, to cover the entire training complex. We don't want to limit ourselves to cycling or running simulators, but simulators of a different kind. The lever type and others. The principle of operation is very simple. It is the conversion of mechanical energy into electrical energy. The potential is huge, say scientists, but at the moment this technology is not so popular. Until recently, it was thought that getting from piezoelectric elements any significant amount of electricity is impossible, since under very strong effects the crystal breaks, and with a small impact it produces very little electricity. However, even about 20 years ago, a mobile phone was not available for everyone. And not surprisingly, many past science fiction novels became a reality. The writer at work, have you seen him? He walks, he ponders. What he will write is still unknown. And while he walks, tie a lever to his leg. 1, 2, 3, and he's already pumping water. By the way, did you laugh? And that means you moved. And with the energy you have generated, you could have light a couple of light bulbs. So laugh dance and exercise. Remember, pumping energy of any kind hurts no one.